guys, my name is Ryan Wyatt and welcome to High Point Music's online video tutorial. So what we're going to cover in today's lesson is it's a beginner's guide, a basic introduction to some improvisation in the rock genre there. So there's going to be two parts to today's lesson. There's the first bit, we're going to go through a D minor pentatonic scale, which is a really nice way to start learning some scales. Gives you guys a bit of a harmonic base in which to springboard into a bit of improvisation and a bit of soloing. And secondly, second part of the lesson, I'm going to give you guys a few basic little tools in which you can not only start practicing the art of improvisation in a musical sense, but you're also going to be getting a bit of scale practice with this technique, learning to take this device all the way around your scale. So you're building your knowledge and you're also building your confidence with improvising. Also guys, if you're an advanced player out there, this backing track is available that was in the intro in the members area. So log in, only takes a minute. That's highpointmusic.com.au, and there's a bunch of other resources there. Also to accompany that, there's going to be all the scale diagrams we're throwing up there for you guys to download as well to take with you to make sure you've got all the resources to really practice this stuff up. Cool guys, let's get into today's lesson. So on the fretboard we've got a D minor pentatonic scale we're going to cover in this position. Alright, so I've chosen this position to get started with for you guys is because it is, I remember when I started learning pentatonic scales, started studying this stuff, this was the easiest position I found because everything's nice and neat, falls under the fingers, and particularly if you're starting out, if you're just using your first and third finger, this is a really cool pattern for you to get your head around. So jumping on the fretboard, let's take it through from top to bottom and teach you guys how to play this scale. So our first finger's on the 10th fret, like that, on the E string. Third finger on the same string then comes up to the 13th. So 10, 13, 10, 13. Okay, third note we've got 10th fret on the A string, followed by the 12th fret on the A string as well. So those four are 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Following on from that guys, we go first finger on the same two frets on the string below. 10th fret on the D, third finger's on the 12th fret on the D as well. So that's the first octave of this scale. So okay. So moving on guys, we drop down another string. So our first finger is on the 10th fret again on the G, and then our third finger comes up to the 12th fret again. So we've got this nice little block pattern, okay, where we're using the same frets on the A string, the D string and the G string, but we don't have to move our fingers into different positions, okay? So that's very, very cool there. So we're moving on to the next one where we've got our first finger on the 10th fret here. Alright, and then our third finger changes to the 13th fret, just like we did in the top position, okay? So we've using the string before, we're going 10, 12, drop down a string, we're going 10, 13, like that. So 10, 12, 10, 13. And then moving on to the next string guys, the bonus for us here is that it's exactly the same as the string above. So we've got 10, 13 like that. So putting those last two strings together we go 10, 13, 10, 13. Alright, so moving all the way through that scale we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So 10th fret, 13th fret, 10th fret, 12th fret, 10th fret, 12th fret, 10th fret, 12th fret again, 10th fret, 13th fret, 10th fret, 13th fret, okay? So if you're just starting out at home like this, try, if you can, try and play along really slowly with that, if you can, just to sort of get your head around this pattern. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it backwards through the pattern. So starting off with our 13th fret here, to the 10th, then we come up a string to the B string, we've got the 13th here, to the 10th, change strings and we go 12, to the 10th, go up a string again, 12, to the 10th, 12, to the 10th, and then 13th to the 10th. Cool, okay, so we've covered that scale. There's two different ways, so playing it up and playing it down, and that's the two different approaches I really want you guys to take with your practice, because it's quite normal, particularly when you're starting something like this out, to get really comfortable just going one way. Like I remember personally when I started out with this stuff, I would go all the way up and I'd be cool with that, but because I'd start my practice always doing that, when it was time to sort of go back, or I was trying to put patterns or improvise coming backwards, or coming down in pitch, I should say, down the scale, I'd stumble and get stuck because there was a bit of a knowledge gap for me coming back. So that's the way to avoid that when you're starting out, guys, is practicing it up nice and steady, nice and evenly. That's what we want, okay? All the notes the same tempo, one after the other, just donk, 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 and then practicing it up in pitch, and also you want to practice that coming down in pitch as well, so you get fluent using both angles. So I can't stress that enough, guys, how important it is to do it evenly, all the notes evenly. And particularly if you're starting out, you're not going to have to do a heap of time with this. If you can just do 5 to 10 minutes just on this scale work when you're starting out, that's going to be heaps. Because pretty much we want to just be laying that foundation and laying that platform of this pattern in your mind in that position. So the next exercise we're going to get to is going to help us start expanding our knowledge on that. But first and foremost, I can't stress this enough, just get a basic understanding of this pattern. Once you've got that, guys, then we can start putting it with the track, start making it a bit more musical and having a bit more fun, but we have to know the scale first. So it's not going to require a heap of work, just consistent work every day, so 5 to 10 minutes on that pattern. Get comfortable with it, and then jump onto this next step when you're ready for that one. All right, so enough talk about this next step. Let's jump straight into it. So what we're going to look at here, guys, is I'm going to give you guys a structure. So when you're soloing, it's really, particularly when you're starting out, it can be like, I've got to invent notes, I've got to invent phrases. It seems like a really, really difficult, really almost mystic thing to be doing. But what we're going to do, guys, is everyone starts out the same. It's all about just getting a few basic ideas to start with, and then just expanding your confidence and knowledge. And it's just one of those things, by learning new ideas, new phrases, new structures, you're going to be putting all this awesome stuff into your playing, in which you can just reinvent, develop, and just come out with stuff that'll even surprise you. So let's look at this structure. I'm going to kick the loop off, and then I'm going to show you this little idea that I've got using the notes. So get our sounds rocking, and let's kick it off. So okay, guys, so what we've heard there, so I was using a basic structure of jumping in on the fretboard. I was going 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And on the fourth note, I was putting a bend or an inflection on that note with a bit of vibrato, okay? So, which is a really, really important stylistic characteristic of the rock genre, what we're trying to do here. So, and after that, I was just going 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's start looking at this lick, how to learn it. So we start off with our first finger on the 10th fret. This is all in our pentatonic scale on the D string, and we go 1, 2, all on the same string there. So first fret, sorry, not first fret, first note, 12th, first note, second note, then we drop our third note, down a string on the 10th fret. So that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, like that. And then the fourth note, we're placing our third finger on the 12th fret. But when we hit the note, we're going to be bending the string, okay? And I want you guys to look really carefully at my fingers in behind, okay? Because what happens is, when I go to bend, see how they drop in behind? So these, it's almost like the little minions here coming in to help this guy lift that note there, okay? So, because it's one thing I see commonly with people, particularly when they're starting this stuff out, they'll try and go, and they'll just splay their fingers out like a car going through a fence, just like that. Okay, when you just tuck them in behind and just, it's quite effortless like that. So that's the first part of this structure, okay? I really want you guys getting comfortable, just going 1, 2, 3, 4, and just mastering that little technique of the bend and dropping your fingers in behind it. Okay, and after we relax the note down, the next part of this phrase, we go 1, 2 on the same string. And then we come up a string, go 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what we've got going on here is this putting it all together. We go 1, sorry, starting from 1, 2. And again we go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. So once you get really comfortable with this idea, this is something you can actually start to move around the scale. So for example, if we jump in on the fretboard, this is something you could start on the string above, for example, because you're just taking the rhythmic structure and the idea and moving it around the pattern we just looked at. So okay. And also guys, keep in mind when you're using these two strings, the G and the B string particularly, don't forget that when we go, we've got to adjust the note with the relevant note in the D minor pentatonic scale. We just can't go hit that natural 6 there. We want to make sure we're hitting the right note for a D minor pentatonic. So okay. And then to transpose that up to these two strings, you can go. And also another point, guys, is when after we've come down from the bend, okay, don't be afraid, and this is a really good thing to practice with this as well, is putting a bit of vibrato, a bit of inflection on that, okay? Because that's a really important stylistic trait as well. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to show you how you can kick the loop off. I'm going to give you a quick little demonstration just using those ideas, and then ways in which once you get comfortable with that, you can invert them, move them around, and give you guys all, just using that one basic technique, getting all sorts of different patterns and pathways through this scale. So let's jump on in, kick that one off. So get our sounds rocking. Here we go. Alright, cool. So that's just a bunch of different ways in which using that one structure, I threw in a little bit of a lick at the end, couldn't help myself, but that's something you can use just to get all these different pathways, and that's going to be a really awesome exercise in helping you guys developing not only your ability to move around the scale, but your confidence in being able to jump around, try different patterns, and almost invent on the fly little pathways to get through the D minor pentatonic scale. So that is, in a nutshell, those are the two purposes that we're trying to achieve with this exercise and this tool, okay? So that's something for you guys to practice up and take your time. It's probably a really good thing to practice this if you're just starting out and you're not that confident with your technique and the scale. Practice that device or that rhythmic structure just on its own. So just on its own without the track at your own tempo. So and practice all those ideas, and then once you're really confident, put the track on your loop pedal or on your media player on your laptop, tablet, phone, whatever, and then you can start practicing along with the track and building it up to that idea. Alright guys, so that pretty much covers everything we wanted to do today. Don't forget all those extras like the loop and all the scale diagrams are going to be in the members area. You can download those and check those out. If you guys appreciate the content in these lessons, hit those subscribe, like, and share buttons. You can also support the channel via the PayPal donate function in the description below. If you guys got any requests or any questions you want further add-ons, I was going to say future at the same time, but further add-ons to this lesson, like extra licks and ideas, once you're getting comfortable with that, shoot the email to learn@highpointmusic, just a brief email, and I can throw those little extra exercises up in the members area for you all once you get started. But if you want to get my help personally with a personalized program to get your playing moving to the next level, best way to do that is to book a one-on-one consultation online, and I can look at your challenges and get you moving in the right direction as soon as possible. But guys, it's a little bit abstract, a little bit to get your head around today, but just trust me, go nice and steady, and with these basic concepts, they're going to help you lay a really good foundation to get improvisation moving and playing along, just like I did in the introduction there. So I look forward to catching up with you guys and hearing all your feedback via the email and comments below. So have fun with this one.